Hey guys, thanks for joining us for the Beyond the Pages of Wichita Real Producers podcast. We are live in Trestle Media Studios with the incredible Troy Trestle. So Troy produces our podcast and he also creates exceptional videos for many other clients in the Wichita area. If you're interested in starting a podcast or if you're looking for high quality branding videos, then look no further because Troy is the master storyteller through video and he will bring your brand to life. My name is Sam Lucciarini. I am your host here, and we've got our preferred partner. We've got two parts of that preferred partner of Elite Electric. We've got Stephen Reed and we've got Luis Acosta. And today's topics are really going to be about serving our country as veterans, becoming a journeyman, a little bit of real estate, maybe getting electrocuted, some tattoos, everything in between. Yeah. So really on that note, you guys, whoever wants to start first, I guess, tell me a little bit, synopsis of your story, and why the heck you decided to play with electricity for a living.
Okay. I'll kick it off. So,
okay.
For me, so I grew up, my family's from Mexico. We never had a father around. I never had a father figure. I did have older brothers, and our mom worked nonstop all the time. And growing up, we always thought that you had to work a 9 to 5. Never thought that I would ever be a business owner, for one, growing up. And so within, we grew up in very tough neighborhoods, growing up, never seen a role model that showed me the way. Over time, I was kind of taking a rough path in life and was making bad decisions growing up. But then I just had like an epiphany one day and I was just like, I can't do this. I need to do something, a career in life. Yeah. I did have an older brother that also served in the military, and he was a big role model of mine. And he actually got killed in combat back in 2004. And pretty much after that happened, it was like my life changing. Like that's where I turned all around. Like I was like, my brother wouldn't want me to, be a bum in the streets or something like that.
Right.
So after that, I kind of was just, trying different careers and paths. I used to work for Spirit. I did the aerospace thing for a little bit here in Wichita. And then after that, I kind of joined the military with Stephen. Stephen was already in the military.
Okay. All right. And so then you guys didn't know each other before then? You became brothers?
Me and Stephen have actually been best friends since 2007.
Yeah. Okay.
2007. Since before that.
16, 17 years, yeah.
And he actually joined before I did. And then around that time, he was just like, hey, bro, why don't you come and just join with me? So I was just like, okay, might as well. So I joined with him.
Did you get a referral bonus for that? No, I'm kidding.
I should. He should have, but I don't think he did he?
That's okay.
And then around that same time, because we were both, so we was electricians in the military.
Okay.
So we was an engineer company.
So you guys chose to make that your specialty in the military? Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Got so they allow you to choose kind of like it's called your MOS.
Okay.
And
the acronyms in the military.
Yeah, exactly.
My word.
There's tons of them.
There are. It's a whole language.
So
which branch of military did you serve?
Army.
Army. Okay.
Yep, we were both Army.
Okay.
And so we both we was an engineer company. And then within that field, we was electricians. But then at the same time, though, because we were National Guard, we was able to go to school outside of the military,
right.
In civilian world. And so we both joined the union, which was here in Wichita. And it was through the IBEW 271. And then we both it was a 4.5 years long of school to get your journeyman's license.
Okay.
And we did,
in the military, did they take care of that, like on a GI Bill?
They helped. Yep.
Yep.
We
That's
got GI
fantastic.
Bill. They paid for that and whatnot.
Amazing.
So, yeah. Stephen was a year ahead of me, or was 2 years ahead of me, right?
Yeah, 2 years.
And he was 2 years ahead of me. So he finished before I did. And so he was able to get his master's. After you break over, you have to put in your time. You get your journeyman's license, and then you have to do like 2 years.
Go back to military.
And then you can get your master's electrician.
Yep, you got to work for it.
Yeah, you got to work for it.
They want that. Yep, they want that work out of you if you're going to pay for it.
So then from there, we kind of just around COVID, things started getting slow. I think all the companies, everybody knew that it was getting bad. Yeah. And for us, we looked at it as an opportunity, and we're like, right now, because he already had a business kind of established, and around that time, a lot of people were calling because a lot of people were doing home projects.
Yep, that's the only thing there was to do. Sit around and look at your house that you weren't happy with.
Yeah, so then he kind of just kicked it off around the COVID time, and sure enough, we were getting phone calls galore. Everybody was like, "Hey, I'm working on my house. I need help. Electrical work, boom, boom, boom." So I ended up leaving the union, and I partnered with Stephen.
Okay.
And we took off after COVID.
And now the rest is history.
The rest is history. Here we
are.
There
you go. Yeah. And then you guys, in a very intelligent way, decided that the niche of real estate agents was a good target market for you guys in addition to homeowners. And that's why we're all here in the room today.
Yep, exactly.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Like I said, just a young guy that grew up from very hard to now a business owner.
I mean, I feel like that is a very common, when you grow up in a pretty rough way, there's really just one of two paths, right? You really rise above that and you become the man you were supposed to be, or you just succumb to that.
Exactly.
And we know how miserable that would be.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The former, yeah. All right, Stephen, what's your story?
All right, so not an as interesting story.
I doubt that.
So I would say how I started, I wanted to be a real estate agent. So in the military, he kind of told the, military story. I joined the military right out of high school, wanted something that I could use later. I didn't want to join infantry or something
Smart.
That was the probably closest thing that I could do that I was already kind of working in. I did engineering throughout school. I was going to Wichita State for engineering, electrical engineering. So I figured just to go that route. Something that I wouldn't, I won't get deployed. Joined the military, went through training, got deployed a month later. Went to Afghanistan for a year.
Okay.
But I did get a lot of electrical experience as far as management, just leading people and running projects. So it helped a lot.
So that was some good business acumen. Yeah. Were you like setting up camps and forts and things like that overseas?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of the electricity, like electrician duties?
Where I was at, I was like between Pakistan and Afghanistan, right on the border, maybe 50 miles from Pakistan. We were setting up a base where the Pakistan Army and Afghanistan Army can come with the U.S. Army to meet and do meetings.
Yep, join
brand
forces.
New building. Yep, brand new building. So ground up, I learned a lot there.
That's awesome. What years were you there? What year?
From 2010 to 2011.
Okay. Yeah, so still a pretty dicey time over there. Yeah.
So I did that, came back, and while going to Wichita State, I also joined the apprenticeship and went to the apprenticeship for 4 years while working on my degree at nighttime. After that, like you said, we decided just to break off and start doing this.
Yeah.
Originally, I thought I was going to be a real estate agent.
Right. I think you made the better choice. No kidding.
Yeah. So I
could say that.
I started by working with a real estate agent and doing showings for him on Sundays.
Yeah. And
I had my little business card like, hey, I do electrical on the side. So every person that came in the showing, I'd say, hey, if you need electrical, get with us. He was also an investor. So we were working on his projects, and then it just kind of like word of mouth rolled into what it is today.
So that definitely explains the why and the how that you guys even understood as a business owner that it's, to be savvy, you have to diversify, your pipeline to fill your pipeline in different ways, and real estate is a pretty good one. Yeah. That's wonderful. Okay. Well, thank you both for your service.
Appreciate
I do.
It.
Yep. I love that. I'm a true patriot. Maybe I was a warrior in another lifetime. I don't know, but I do love that. Okay, so what does a typical day look like for you guys with Elite Electric, and kind of break down the business and maybe just give some examples to the real estate people that might be listening of the services that you're offering that would apply to them and their clients. I know that was a lot, but
okay, so
go for it.
Both of our days probably looks a little bit different. For me, I start my day off, go to coffee days, get my Vietnamese iced coffee.
I love coffee days. Tiffany and her crew are amazing.
Awesome. Have to have that. After that, I start off, I go to the office, look over the schedule, and kind of just make sure everybody's where they need to be, figure out what they're doing for the day. If people need parts, if we need different things, I'll run around, grab that, and then just kind of fit in where I can. As far as that, then probably do a little bit of emails if I can. We're in a transition right now to where we're trying to pull out of the field, get more into the office, and work on the business instead of in it.
Yep.
So that's kind of the biggest thing I've kind of been working on as far
as
what
I've been transition.
Trying to do.
Yeah, there's a lot of books out there on Audible about that exact transition. It's a challenging one. But that's the way to scale and to grow, is to start working on the business and to delegate. Exactly. Okay. Would you say the typical day looks like for you?
So for me, same thing. I wake up, I have a golden doodle at home. I make sure I take him outside, make sure he's good. That's he's like the pride of my joy.
Yes.
Everything.
Yeah.
He wakes me up, and then
it's your four-legged kid.
That's it. I don't have no kids or nothing. I just have my dog.
Yep.
But then from there, I head directly to my job site. So I'm in charge of all the commercial that we do.
Okay.
So right now we have a lot of commercial projects
that we're
running right now. I have a couple journeymen that are running each project, and then I have, they have apprentices under them.
Got it.
So I just make sure that, I pull up to each job site, and at the moment right now, we're so swamped though. I'm also working in the field. So I'm jumping from job site to job site right now, trying to just like wrap up on certain things with that my journeyman can't keep up with or something like that. But for the most part, I'm just overseeing all commercial right now.
Okay.
And then from there, I try to get back. I try to work from like 7 to like maybe 2 in the field, and then I'll head to the office when I can after that. And then we'll be in the office. Me and Steven be in the office in the evenings doing invoicing, estimates, emails, phone calls. We're there.
Yep, all the admin.
Yeah, all the admin stuff.
Yep, you put on the other hat and you go into that
exactly.
work.
So we have to take on both roles still. We're still
Yes.
we're so busy to where we got good manpower, but we need more manpower.
Of course.
And we're expanding, we're growing. But me and Steven still have to fill in them holes that we can't fill
Yeah,
in yet.
you do. As business owners, you have no choice.
Exactly.
You could, and it would hurt, but you have to be able to jump in with any hat at any time.
And before, like me and Steven, we would work godly amounts of hours. Till like 7, 8 o'clock at night. But we're getting to the point now where like, you know what, we need to focus a little bit on ourselves.
Yes.
So we try to
balance.
wrap up around 4 or 5 now, and he got family.
That's right. You've got 2 kiddos. Yep.
And I try to go to the gym after work and just kind of just wind down the day, and then go back to my dog at the end of the day.
Yep.
So.
Yep. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. What is the craziest, I guess, electricity or just job that you've done, whether that includes being electrocuted or anything that comes to mind, or something crazy you found like within a wall when you're replacing like knob and tube? I don't know, something like the juicy stuff.
For me, it's, and this story didn't happen to me, but it was told to me by one of Larry. I think you've met Larry at one of the meetings.
Okay.
So Larry went for a service call.
Okay. Like to a residential?
Into a residential house. The landlord went with them.
Okay.
They were trying to get power back onto the house. So I guess they go into the house. He says already outside it feels like a weird feeling. He feels like something weird.
Okay.
They go into the house. It's all dark. Hello, saying hello. The tenant's supposed to be there.
Right.
Nobody's answering. So they go down to the basement where the panel's at.
Yes.
And so they're going, and they hear like a weird noise, and they're like, okay. And the lights are all off, super dark. And they look over to the center of the room, and there's like 2 people like sitting face to face. And they're like,
oh my God, I have goosebumps.
They're trying to talk with them, and they're not answering. They're just like,
they're naked too.
And they were naked.
Oh my God.
They were naked.
This is the juicy stuff I was asking for, but this gives me goosebumps.
Yes. And then, so they were like, okay, hello. And they're trying to Larry always has flashlights. Stuff.
Yeah.
Flashing nothing. They're just like face
zombies?
to face. Yes.
Like sitting?
Yes.
Sitting
at each other.
And so they...
Oh my God.
They were just gibbering.
They were like
stuff to each other.
Whispering to each other. And so... whatever, he does what he has to do, goes this way around him, does his stuff, and
if I was a landlord, I'd be
leaves.
like, eviction immediately.
Yes, and this is like on South Broadway house, so it's
a little bit weird over there.
Yeah.
So what were they? Did they ever figure out what was to
Never figured. He did what he had to do and said, "Hey, I'm out." Left.
And that's the thing. Like I give Larry props because he literally still did the job.
No kidding.
Around there,
I'd be like, I'm out.
No,
I am out. You get these weird humans and whatever stuff they've summoned out of here, and then
they were doing something weird. I don't know what, but Larry just stood strong. He's like, we got a job to do, and he did it.
That is wild.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that. Do you have any crazy stories?
That, just like
I don't know if anyone can top that, but that's insane.
That tops the cake right there. Just like crazy stories. We see everything. We're in residential homes all the time.
Like you can see how like weird or dirty or strange people live. You mean?
All the time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we walked.
I don't think anything tops that, but that's
no.
I'm sure
we'll go to residential homes, and if it's too dirty, I'll tell them like we're not going to do nothing here until you guys clean something.
Good for you.
Yeah. Unsanitary. We're not going to deal with that.
Yeah. You don't need bugs crawling on you. You don't need to walk out with bed bugs or fleas.
Yep. So we will notate that to either the owner or the customer, whoever. I just want to make everybody safe. That's the main thing,
And you have to stay safe most of all to get the job done.
Exactly. So we have safety meetings, and it comes down to that. I have my guys like, hey man, if you feel uncomfortable with doing some of this electrical work, if it's something too dangerous, if it's just too much to handle, let us know.
It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Exactly.
Oh wow, that is fascinating. That's going to be an eerie story that stays in. Okay, moving on to something positive. What is your 5-year goal with Elite Electric here in Wichita?
So for me, 5-year goal, I want to be able to just oversee and see that we have like at least 10 journeymen, 2 journeymen under each, 2 apprentices under each journeyman. We are partners with the IEC, which is the Independent Electrical Contractors here at Wichita.
Okay.
So what that means is like, we can put people in school if they want to go to school, and we pay for their tuition as well.
Okay, so that's great. You already were reading my mind. So I was going to ask, like, what does it take for, say, like a high school student? Because going into college right now is sometimes the biggest scam of our lifetime. Thinking that you're going to go to college and get a degree and have a good life, it's a scam.
It's funny that you said that, because growing up, like, I never knew about trade schools at all.
Exactly. Yep.
My mom, like I said earlier, my mom, she always said, hey, I want you guys to go to school, and then from there you guys go to college, because that's all
we believe that myth.
That's that American dream. You go to school, you go to college.
Yep. And then you're guaranteed to have a good job, a good income, a good life.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the case.
I didn't know about trade schools until like 2 years after I graduated high school. And I was just like, wait, electrician? I thought you had to go to college to become an electrician.
Yeah.
They're like, no, you can go to trade school.
Right.
And it's like,
and have a lot less debt and start earning income immediately.
It's way cheaper, way cheaper than going.
So what's the time frame for, say, like someone that's graduating a senior this year? Where would they go to get that information, and how long does it take, and what's typically the cost?
Okay, so let's say, like you said, I just graduated high school. I want to become an electrician. So he can go to the IEC. If he wants to go, there's multiple schools. There's a union and there's a non-union. So we're part of the non-union.
Got it.
IEC. So they can always go to the IEC and be like, hey, I want to join the apprenticeship. So then Keely at the IEC, she's the one that's in charge over there. She will contact, so there's multiple electrical contractors. We're not the only one. There's like 20 other electrical contractors that are partners there.
Okay.
And then she'll reach out. She's like, hey, we have a guy that wants to start the apprenticeship. So then a company like us, let's say, okay, we want to give him a chance. Yep. He'll come, we'll interview him. And then if he seems like a fit, we'll hire him, okay? So then he'll be a pre-apprentice until school starts. So when school starts, usually starts around August, they will work with us, and they work with us every day. So they'll still work a full 40-hour week.
Okay.
And then in one day every week in the evening from like 5 to like 9, they have to go to school.
Got it.
And that's it.
Learn some stuff.
And that whole process though takes 4
That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. And that whole time you're getting paid still. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
amazing.
Because you have to get 8,000 hours of on the job training, and then you have to do 2,000 hours school. I think it's 2,000 hours school.
Okay.
So, but it equals to 4.5 years.
Okay.
Okay. So then within that 4.5 years, you break over and you get your journeyman's license.
Okay.
Okay.
And then you're considered an electrician.
And then
once you have that.
you're considered a journeyman electrician.
A journeyman. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you're certified.
Okay.
Yep.
Where does the name journeyman come from? Why? Like it doesn't make sense to me.
You asked me.
Are we just going with it because someone named it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's all right. I will have to Google that later because things like that I have to know.
Like you're asking about cost. So so for the cost of an apprenticeship, the one that we're in, for per student, it's pretty much $3,000 a year.
Okay.
And then it's
nothing.
And it's $750 for your books.
That's amazing.
So pretty much $3,750 a year.
Yeah.
And then we offer tuition assistance. Like we'll pay for your tuition.
That's cool. As the company, because you know that you'll retain them.
Yeah. And we have contracts. There's certain there's we have a contract with our apprentices though. That's like we have like certain guidelines that hey, you have to do this though, for us to pay for your tuition.
Yep.
And then the only thing that we have them do is pay for their books. And then
they need to have some skin in the game.
And then we also have a deal too with our guys too. Like if you can't pay for your books, well then we can do some
trade, some sweat equity.
Work in.
Yeah.
If you want to work on a weekend and work off some of that money, cool. And we'll
Good
do
for
that.
you guys.
Yeah.
That's amazing that number one, that's not a big barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
You do get to earn money the whole time, which is unheard of.
Yep.
Because in college, you're, working a job and going to school full time and going into more debt. But then you guys are just so gracious and pouring into them and giving them a chance to maybe turn their life around in a way that might not have ever been available to them. That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yep.
Okay. Very good. We were going to ask about unusual habits or absurd things that you guys do. And I know you said you couldn't think of anything, but I think that playing with electricity is plenty absurd, but you guys think it's very normal. So we'll just leave that alone. Okay. But have you ever been electrocuted? Has there been a little shock or a big shock?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do you know how many, I don't know the verbiage here, right? So with volts, or watts or
it just, so you have, your regular voltage, you have high voltage,
what's coming out of our,
that's 120 volts. So that's just your standard voltage anywhere.
That's a good enough shock though.
But the shock depends on the current and the amps. Okay. So amps is what can kill you. Okay.
Okay.
So the more the amps, the more then it can grab you, and then it can get a hold of you.
Like when a power line falls and someone grabs it.
Oh, that's
like you can't grab them because you'll get electrocuted
high
too.
voltage. Yeah. That's some high
Okay.
voltage. But like it all depends. I mean, there's a lot to it. You can grab a hot wire as long as you're not grounded. You're not going to get shocked. But as soon as you touch something that's grounded, that current will pass through your body, and then it depends on the path that it takes. And electricity is going to take the shortest path. Okay. So if it goes through your arm and then it passes through your heart, and that is
good night.
You know what I'm saying? But that's usually like high voltage stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like something like this, it's going to give you a good jump. You know what I'm saying? But it all depends on just the amount of volts and everything like that.
Okay.
I have been hit by some high 277, which is a higher voltage.
What'd you do? What happened?
Well, what happened was we were working at Wesley actually.
This is good.
And
Steven's laughing.
I was an apprentice actually.
Okay.
And I was working for a company before I started my company, and we were working at the hospital, and we couldn't turn off power because of the patients. So we had to work it hot no matter what. But we were being very, we had like precautions on how to do it. Then so we were taking apart these lights, and then we had to put a wire nut on it to cap off the hot wire, and we would hang it up and tie it up so that way it would just be out of the way.
Okay.
And I was taking down a light, and I hit that whip that was hot.
Yes.
And it fell and it grazed my arm. And luckily it just grazed me, because if it would have stuck, I was done.
Really?
But it just grazed my arm, and it like locked me up, and I was on top of a ladder and I fell off.
Did you? I like how men laugh at each other. Were you there to witness this?
I was not there.
No, but you just think it's funny because you're.
I laugh because like I've only been.
I'm glad you're okay.
I rarely get shocked because I'm very. I always wear gloves. I'm like very careful.
Okay, so they have gloves that can block.
Well, I just wear regular gloves, but just
okay.
walking around and watching like everybody, mostly him and some of the other guys, they don't like doing that.
Okay.
And only time I've been shocked is when somebody said, "Oh, I turned it off," and I didn't check it. And so usually I'm real.
Are there a lot of spitting and cursing after that? When you maybe
really.
maybe not.
It happens very, very seldom for me.
Okay, all right, that's
we put
good.
it in our guys though. So like they're called tick tracers. So it's like a little stick, and then you can walk up to a wire and you can put it and see if it has a voltage before you do any work on it.
Just like home inspectors will test out the outlets. Okay.
And we always tell all our guys like, hey,
it is so worth it.
Before you work on anything, just turn it off. Just get up and watch the panel and just turn it off.
Yeah.
But sometimes my guys,
or you're gonna be really mad at yourself.
And that's the thing. Like sometimes my guys are just like, they get into like just a robot mode and just go at it, and then then they'll go cut a wire, and then boom, it'll just pop in their face. I'm like, I told you.
That's right. Yeah. Well, those are lessons that hopefully they learn very quickly
Yeah.
and only have to learn one time.
Yeah.
Stakes are high with that. Okay. What is one thing, or I guess this is kind of like the elevator spiel, right? Like, let's tell the realtors, the real estate industry, when to call you guys, what to use you for.
Okay. So most of the calls we get on the real estate side are after your home inspections. We have a really good relationship with a lot of home inspectors in town as far as getting referred to them. And we do a lot, even when home inspectors need things that they don't know.
Yeah, it's outside their realm.
Yeah, then they can reach out to us, obviously free of charge.
Yeah,
just
like
for
call
advice.
or FaceTime.
Yeah, and we do that quite a bit. And so really after home inspections, we do so many of those that we're able to do most of them just through email. So what I tell real estate agents to do is send it to our email, our office email, office@eliteelectriccompany.com. Nina will take a look at it, send it to us. We'll take a look. If it's something we need to look at in person, then she'll reach out and schedule a time to come look at it. If it's something, GFCIs or junction boxes,
You can easily just quote that.
we usually just quote it and have it sent over so it's easier and it doesn't take too much time out of the sale and everything for everybody.
That makes sense. And that's really convenient and fast, right? Because the agents are working on that sense of urgency timeline with this contract constraints. So when, there's right now, anything will potentially sell, but it won't always be that way because real estate is cyclical and eventually it'll be a buyer's market and not a seller's market. But when an agent is getting ready to list a home for sale and they really do want to put the home in the best light and take care of all these things before, so that it does go fast, what are some of the situations in which you can kind of, tell the agents, here, look for something like this, or when you see things like this is a good thing to get taken care of now so it doesn't come up later in home inspections. Is there anything like that? As far as like pre-listing preparation when it comes to electricity?
We've actually done a pre-listing conference like where real estate agents can come out, and it was us, a roofer, and a couple other contractors, where we give them a couple little things to look at just so they can better serve their clients. For on the electrical side, GFCI is close to anything that's close to water.
Yep. How many feet does that outlet need to be to water when it needs to be GFCI? 6 feet. Okay.
Yep, within 6 feet.
Yep.
And then Federal Pacific panels or Zinsco panels or Stablock, any panel, electric
Are those
panel.
the old ones?
They're the old ones, yep. Okay. Any one with colored breakers, you could just call that.
Okay.
Needs to be replaced.
Okay, so anything that has colors knows that, okay.
So usually red, and then some of them have like a blue or green breakers, but anything with the color that's not just black. Okay.
Is that a fairly simple or inexpensive process to replace a breaker panel like that?
It can be if it's straightforward and if there's nothing in front of it, if you don't have to move it anywhere. Okay. You could usually do it from anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000.
Okay. So still quite an expense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But worth it.
Yeah.
Got it.
It depends though. Like, I mean, there's a factors to everything. And if it's recessed in the wall, if it's surface mounted, if it's, if it's a small panel, a 100 amp panel, a 200 amp panel is bigger. So it's going to cost more because there's a lot more room and a lot more breakers that we have to purchase. Yeah. And that's the thing is like, we obviously we supply everything.
Yes.
You know, but there's a lot of factors to it,
Is it just a day's time or half a day's time to replace a panel?
Same thing. Just it depends on the size of the panel. Right. It could take, usually like average for us, like a 100 amp panel, we can do in like 3 or 4 hours.
Okay, nice.
And then if it's really like a bigger panel, it probably takes like 6 hours, something like that.
Okay.
So we try not to leave the customer with no power for too long.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
That's just a panel though. There's more, like I said, if it gets down to, having to change the service and stuff too, then it gets more time and whatnot.
Okay. Yep. All right. That's good to know. Outside of work, what do you guys spend the majority of your time doing? Like I see your beautiful children on Facebook all the time. So, but what else, tell us about what your time looks like when you're not working.
So usually golfing.
Okay.
Yeah. Like hanging out with my kids.
Yes.
My youngest just started soccer, so that's taken up quite a bit of time.
Oh yeah. So you're a soccer dad now.
My oldest is starting to drive. So
that's scary.
Driving, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, golfing, traveling.
Good.
So yeah, when I don't have my kids, I like to travel. We travel quite a bit.
Are you a beach or mountain or desert?
I'd say both. I like Colorado.
Okay.
Probably one of my favorite places to go.
Yeah.
Just like snowboarding.
Okay.
Usually, and then, yeah.
Okay. The adrenaline. All right. Luis, what about you? What do you like besides the Golden Doodle? What's the Golden Doodle's name?
His name's Gizmo.
Gizmo. Okay.
Yeah,
there you go.
He'll be 2 next year. He's a big boy. He's probably taller than you.
Really?
Yeah, he's big.
That's good.
But outside of work, I just, I'm a big family person. When I go visit my mom all the time, my sisters, my brother. I hang out with Steven all the time. He just got me into golf like a little over a year ago. So
okay.
It's just an addiction now at this point.
It is.
It is very addicting and very expensive.
Right. Yeah. And probably very frustrating.
It is.
Yes. Yeah.
You go, you play, and you hate golf, but then you love it.
Right.
Much.
But then you go back the next day.
You go back the next day. Exactly.
Yeah. You're addicted.
And I'm just very social. I like to hang out with friends. I like to drink, just go have a few drinks go, try some bars and go have dinner and stuff like that. So, and then like he said, I love traveling. We travel all the time. So we got a couple trips coming up this year. So I'm going skiing, snowboarding,
cool.
This one time we'll go to the beach one month, and the next month all right, let's go skiing now.
Yeah, somewhere cold.
And snowboarding or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere cold sounds glorious right now with these triple
yeah.
digits.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
How would you guys describe the real estate market? Because you were doing this business and you were focusing on real estate as one of your target audiences, but now post COVID and post the craziness, do you see a difference or a shift in how real estate is working from your point of view?
I would say it's been pretty steady.
That's good.
I haven't seen any shift. It's been all the same. Real estate agents are still needy.
Yes. Yes. They still need you there right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
But other than that, like the work, all the works have been the same. We've
good.
Stayed consistently busy.
Good.
Maybe busier, but.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I feel like businesses have either gone one or two ways. They've gotten busier, and you've refined your processes, and you're going to stay around long term, or people are just hurting or suffering. Okay. Anything to add to that?
No, just like he said, I feel like it's pretty consistent with us. One thing about me and Steven too is like you don't see a lot of electricians do it, but we network all the time.
Yes, you guys do.
You
Yep.
always see us.
Yeah,
out
you guys
there.
are at WEBA, all the things.
We're
Yep.
at WEBA, we're in BNI. We come to stuff like this when you have events and stuff like that, and that connects us with a lot more real estate agents.
Yeah.
You know,
No, it's just such a simple thing to do.
Exactly.
It is. I mean, yes, it's a use of your time, and you're not doing it all the time because, granted, we could easily network full time in Wichita. There's plenty of things to do.
Oh, yeah.
But I do think it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does.
I mean, if you work a platform, it's going to work.
Oh yeah, great, and it is. I mean, it works out. It's been working great for us because me and Steven, we love to get out and mingle with everybody. We're social people. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so when I feel like the real estate agents, they see us in person and be like, you know what, they seem like pretty cool guys. I actually want to give them a try.
Yep. They can trust you. They get to see you in the flesh.
And then we go and we prove we are knowledgeable. We know what we're doing.
Yep.
We're very flexible. Like he said, you can just shoot us an email. We'll get you taken care of pretty quick.
Yeah.
And we work them, relationships out with these real estate agents, and they
Makes
love
a difference.
And it makes a huge difference.
If more businesses would understand that,
Yeah,
it'd
exactly.
be beautiful.
And for us, it's like, yes, we're running a business and everything, but we love to build these friendships with everybody.
Yeah.
It
does. It makes a difference when you are doing business with somebody, but then you've got the friendship layer as well.
Oh yeah.
It's synergy. It
I was telling
everything.
Steven the other day, I was like, we go to the events, like when we first started, nobody knew who you were. And like now we walk in, like, oh, the elite guys are here.
Yeah.
Because they know who we are.
I know. Yeah. I mean, it's the brand recognition. It's the logo. It's it's the faces. It's,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we see it here and we see an ad, maybe on a piece of paper, but when you do start to see the trucks and the faces and the logo, it just, it's
exactly.
We
love it.
It's strong. I do too. Okay. What purchase of $100 or less has impacted your life? Anything that you can think of?
Purchase of $100 or less.
I know.
Has impacted
it doesn't
my
get
life.
much. It maybe gets like, a gas tank.
I don't feel like anything's under.
I know.
I
Right?
know.
At this point, everything's so expensive right now.
I know. Do you have any like fun little gadgets? I don't know, anything like that?
I would say there's something that, so my daughter, my youngest, she's always wanting water at nighttime.
Okay.
So I bought a device that sits on the nightstand.
Yeah.
It has a little hose, and you put it in like a gallon under the bed.
Yeah.
You set a cup on it, and you push a button, and it dispenses water out.
Nice.
I think it was $15.
So she doesn't have to
And I don't
wake
have
you
to get
up
up.
or get out of
Yeah. She
That's
knows how
where
to use it.
That's parenting smarter, not harder, sir. Okay.
So,
I don't think I have anything. I can't
No.
even think of anything right
There's
now.
got to be like a dog toy or something.
Oh, my dog, he's just
Is he spoiled?
he's more of a human being. Yeah,
Yes.
he's super spoiled. That's my
Yes.
child. So
Yep, I can relate.
Every time I go to the store, I do buy I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get that for Gizmo. So I got him he had like a whole bucket of toys. And for some reason, he still wants to chew my shoes or something.
Of course. Yes. Yeah. Just wait. It gets better with children. I
Yeah,
love it.
exactly.
Okay. All right. We are, we're almost done here. We've got a couple of quick round questions that we'll get to.
Okay.
And the first one, this wasn't on it, but I thought of it as we were sitting here and getting ready. Who has more tattoos?
yes.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
All right. Luis won, Steven. No, kidding.
Run out of space.
Everybody always asks me though, how many tattoos you got? And I just say one big one.
Yeah, you can't count anymore.
can't count
that makes
no more.
sense. Okay. Would you rather be covered in fur or scales?
I would say fur.
Scales.
I don't know.
Scales?
I'm going with
Okay,
fur.
so you're really warm blooded. You want to be
Yeah,
scales
me
and be cold blooded.
Yeah, I don't want to be hot.
Okay, all right,
I'm gonna
fair.
say fur.
Would you rather spend the rest of your life on a sailboat or as an RV? In an RV as your home?
I would say RV. I
Okay.
love traveling.
Yeah.
I would say RV too.
Okay, all right, fair. Would you rather go back in time or be able to tell the future?
Go back in time.
Okay,
Go back in time. There's a lot of things I wish I can change.
okay, all right. New build or 100-year-old home?
New build with the pool.
That's right. I agree.
Yeah, I'm
I
going
second
new
that.
build as well.
On that, do you guys still see a lot of knob and tube?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
Really?
College Hill area.
Yeah.
A lot.
And we have to go in and we have to redo the whole house. And we do it pretty.
That sounds expensive.
We have kind of a technique though to where we can do a lot of a rewiring without doing too much damage on the. It's all with lath plaster houses.
Yeah.
But we have techniques where we can like fish a lot of wires and make it very minimal.
Sounds expensive.
But
worth it and necessary.
It just takes time and a little bit of money, but we can do it. Unless you want to tear out the whole walls, and then we can just redo it.
That's fine too. I'm
Yeah.
sure you've got connections there too. Okay, cats or dogs?
Dogs.
Neither.
Neither.
No.
Yeah.
Children. You just choose children.
I got kids.
Like what? A fish? A lizard? A bird?
Nothing. I already have enough
to take care of,
responsibilities
enough
that
mouths to feed.
I don't want to add to it.
That's fair. Okay. All right. Well, guys, that is it. That's a wrap. So thank you both.
Cool.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Luis, for taking some time. I know you guys are crazy busy.
Oh, yeah.
But thank you for coming and just sharing your story, sharing your business here on the Beyond the Pages podcast. So make sure you guys subscribe and tune in. We'll release a podcast weekly, and have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you.